If you're a modern working man or woman, you might have gotten too stiff in your hip muscles to be able to do a primal squat, a deep squat, a Hindu squat, Asian squat, minor squat, whatever kind of squat you want to call this deep squat. But don't fear, I'm here to help you. I'm going to show you one of the best hip stretches you can do to improve your deep squat so you can loiter around your local Vietnamese restaurant after lunch. That is why you're here, right? No? And if that's not the reason you're here, drop me a comment down below and let me know why you're trying to improve your deep squat. Maybe you like having a pain-free low back, hips, and knees when you go into a basic human position like this. I don't know. By the end of this video, you'll understand how to stretch yourself into the deepest squats of your life. I've seen this stretch work miracles for squat depth, no joke. And I'm gonna show you some modifications that'll help you go from stiff chump to deep squatting champ. So if you're ready, let's get ready to think right, move right, and feel right. Now you don't need any special equipment to do this stretch. I'm using a foam plyometric training box, but you don't have to use anything special like this. You can use a couch, an ottoman, a chair, even the side of your bed will work just fine. As long as it's not higher than around mid-thigh, it's fine. You don't want to have it super high like this because then you won't be able to get the stretch in the right spot. And a surface that's lower than your knee is going to be too low to start off with, and you're probably going to hurt yourself. But over time, as you get better at this stretch, you can work towards progressing to a lower and lower surface, provided you're feeling it in the right spot, which we'll talk about in a second. Then you'll also want some pillows or towels or cushions that are gonna help support your leg and your knee while you're doing this stretch. If you're too lazy to go get some, or for some reason you don't have anything, I will show you a workaround later. Now that you have all that stuff ready, let's do a quick squat together to see what your starting point is. Watch yourself in a mirror or use a camera to film yourself from the side and see how low you can go. You want to make sure that your spine doesn't round like this and that you feel balanced without any pain in your knees, your hips, or your back. So just look at how far you get, how comfortable it is when you get there, and remember that. And if you took video, you can use it for content for your OnlyFans later. So how low can you go? Take some notes for yourself and even drop me a comment down below to let me know how your first test went. And now let's do the stretch. To make sure you get the most out of this stretch, you need to understand what a neutral spine is. So your lower back has an arch here, and then your mid and upper back go into what's called kyphosis, or a rounding. So arch here, and then in the mid and upper back, you have the rounding. When you're doing this stretch, try to maintain the arch in your lower back and don't increase the rounding in your mid and upper back or add rounding into your lower back. That's gonna be the big temptation, is this, and I don't want you to do this. It'll make more sense in a second. To start, put your foot and ankle up on the surface in front of you and then let your knee drop down towards that surface. Then you want to add a little bit of support. Use your cushions, whatever, right there to wherever your knee feels like it's going to be safe and stable. Then pull the toes and foot back towards the knee. That's going to engage muscles of the front of the shin, which is going to help keep your knee feeling safe and pain-free. As you're doing this stretch, you never want to feel like your knee is getting the strain. If you do, you need to back out of it, unless you like the idea of limping around for several weeks full of pain and regret. Now, maintaining a neutral spine, you're going to start to lean forward, thinking about bringing your belly button forward towards your shin. You want to feel stretch in your butt. You do not want to round your spine in like this. We're trying to keep the arch in the low back and maintain the normal curvature of the mid and upper back. So you may not have to go very far to feel a stretch in the glutes. Go to a position where you feel the stretch in the glutes and you can still breathe calmly. If you feel like you're tensing your face like this, it's too much too fast. For beginners, just hang out, breathe and relax for 60 seconds to up to 2 minutes. And then make sure you do the other side. Now, if you're somewhere where you don't have easy access to extra supports like pillows, cushions, or towels, you can also use the edge of the surface and just allow your foot and ankle to hang off. This will help create a similar kind of angle where you're not getting the whole shin totally flat, but instead you're allowing that leg and then the hip to have a little more internal rotation so you can feel the stretch in the right spot. A lot of people are gonna feel like this with the knee flat is just way too intense, and it's not gonna feel good for the knee, and it's not gonna stretch the right muscles in the hip. So allowing that foot and leg to come off can be a big help when you're trying to feel it in the glutes. And if you have access to an adjustable weightlifting bench, you can use the different incline angles to find the angle that feels the best for you. Make sure to explore different angles over time, because there will be different stiff secret spots hiding. For some people, just breathing and relaxing in this position can be really powerful. This technique is known as static stretching, and it's the most basic version of this deep squat stretch. But for many people, static stretching alone is just not going to break through some of the stiffness that you feel in your glutes. For a lot of guys over the age of 10, static stretching can be an exercise in frustration and futility. And that's why we're going to talk about how to use contractions to build strength in these lengthened positions. That's going to help you turbocharge your hip flexibility. And if you'd like to add contractions to your stretching, you're in luck. I'm selling them today for 50% off when you buy 12 or more. So add 12 contractions to your cart right now and save 50% on contractions. Just kidding, contractions are free, and I'm going to show you how to do them right now. Once you're in a position where you feel a bit of tension on the glutes, you're going to be pushing your shin, your foot, your ankle, your knee down into the supports and into the surface. So when you do that, you're going to feel muscles contract here in your butt. Start off with a light contraction. Imagine that you were just moving the volume slider up to around a maximum of 30%. Do this slowly so you don't spasm or hurt anything. You're just going to be pushing gently down and slowly slide the intensity level up so that you can feel a little bit of work happening in the muscles that you've been pulling into a lengthened position. Hold that contraction for 5 to 10 seconds, trying to breathe calmly while feeling and maintaining that contraction, and then go ahead and relax slowly, and then see if you can go a little deeper into this stretch. You can lean forward a little bit more, maintaining a neutral spine, or you can move your stance foot back a little bit, and that's going to help you feel a little more stretch in the glute. Then you'll do the same thing. You're going to slide the slider up to a max of 30 for right now. You're going to feel those muscles contract, hold that contraction, 5 to 10 seconds, and then you're going to slowly slide it back down to 0. Relax, breathe, and see if you can go a little bit deeper. The idea is to build strength at a lengthened position. In other words, you want strength at every length. We're taking the muscles of your hip into a lengthened position and gradually teaching those muscles to be stronger in that position. Now, if the 30% intensity felt okay, it felt safe, you can feel free to bump it up to around 60% on your next couple rounds and experiment with how that feels, making sure that you go up slowly, get to 60%, and then slowly back it down to 0, and then try to get a little deeper into your stretch. Some people find that they need to go to an even higher intensity, like 90% intensity, but I don't recommend you start off that way because there's a good chance you don't yet have the mental coordination to make those muscles do that without spasming something. So start off with 30 to 60% intensity for at least a week, and then when you feel ready for it, you can go ahead and push that slider up to 90% for these holds and really intensely press in using those muscles, and then slowly letting that contraction back down and then going a little deeper into the stretch. The higher intensity can be very effective. Just make sure that you feel ready for it and it feels safe and doable for you. There's really nothing to be gained by hurting yourself. You're just going to be limping around with pain and regret. When you're doing this on your own, spend 1 to 2 minutes on each side, doing the contractions, then relaxing, doing the contractions, then relaxing. And once you've finished for that 1 to 2 minutes on one side, make sure you switch to the other side because you don't want to be lopsided, do you? I didn't think so. And if you've been doing these stretches, now is a good time to just see what your squat feels like again. Do a quick little test. How does it feel? Drop me a comment down below. To make more hip mobility gains, play with these variables in this hip stretch. Hey, we hope you're enjoying this video on the deep squat. And if you are liking this video and you want to support content like this, and you don't want me to have to make promo videos in the middle of all my videos about VPNs, website builders, supplements, or clothing, please consider supporting this channel by joining on YouTube or going to uprighthealth.com/donate for some simple, easy options to help support content like this without a bunch of corporate ads. We really appreciate it. If you haven't already, subscribe to this channel, and now let's get back to this deep hip stretch. Adjust the angle that you have your knee supported at. You might find that having it a little bit higher, a little bit lower, or much lower gives you access to a lot of different muscle fibers that you didn't know were stiff and tight. Try moving the back foot further behind you to reduce the angle in front of the hip and lengthen the muscles in the back of the hip. Also, try to shift your weight into those muscles so you can feel like these glute muscles are supporting your body's weight. Try putting less pressure into your hands so that your glutes have to do the work. It can be a great way to build strength at length. And you can also even consider taking your hands off entirely so that you're really loading into the glutes in a stretched position. But make sure it feels safe and doable. Don't just jump to no hands if you haven't tried it with just a little reduced support. Oh, and I almost forgot this one. Adjust the angle of your hinge. So I've told you to just kind of go forward towards the middle of your shin, but you can also change your target. You might want to turn towards your foot and ankle and start hinging that way. You might want to go a little more towards your knee, or you could go all the way over and go beyond your knee this direction to get into some other muscle fibers. Finally, you can add external load, like wearing a weight vest, holding on to a dumbbell, or holding onto a band or cable for a deeper stretch and resistance to when you come out of the stretch. This will help you build strength at every length. Remember that building strength and length will give you the hip mobility that you're looking for so you can achieve a nice deep squat. Your body will try to stop you from going into positions that it knows you can't control. So when you get close to a tough position, building strength there is going to signal to your brain and body that, hey, it's okay, we got this. And that's gonna gradually build your range of motion so that you can go deeper and deeper into positions that you never thought were possible. And that's gonna help you get into a nice, deep, smooth, easy, pain-free Asian squat. Let me know how this stretch felt for you and how it affected your squat depth. Did it get deeper? Drop me a comment down below. And if you want to get more flexible, healthier hips, go to uprighthealth.com/DIY and check out the Healthy Hips program. It'll help you rebuild your hips at home. You'll also find this video helpful for strengthening some weird little hip muscles that'll help you get a deeper squat, so check it out. And if you made it this far, hit the like button, subscribe, and consider joining to support future videos like this. I appreciate it, and I hope you always remember that pain sucks. Life shouldn't.